Good morning, everybody. It is 8:16 a.m. It is May 8th. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Markets had a nice short cover and rally on Friday. If you caught my midday update, that's what I was expected to happen. They actually hit some supply. It sold off towards the close. Just a little selling. Just needed a little correction. But we're back into this market going back and forth. And then we have big CPI, PPI data coming out this week. All really big earnings are behind us. So Apple kind of help lift the market a little bit, right? So let's get into this introduction and welcome to my channel if you haven't joined before. Little introduction. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Welcome to my channel. I use market profile, volume profile primarily to set up my trades, set up game plans. That drives what I do in my stocks as well. Not always, but it does help out. Use supply demand, using gamma levels as well. All that tends to be confluent to help me out with trades. So that's what I do. And obviously, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Gonzo719. And of course on Instagram at Gonzo719 Jersey. As always, trying to build the channel. Hopefully you guys can subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends, set an alert. That would be awesome. And we can get into this. Get into what's going on in the markets. Look at the watch list together. Alright, give me one sec here. Let's get that watch list up. Give me one second. Apologize, I had to have a little late start with my daughter today, so I usually have everything all set up. But today was a little different. I apologize for that. Give me one sec. I know I keep saying that, but it is true. Okay, let's move over to the watch list here. Let's get cracking here. All right. So crude oversold, finally making a comeback. $73.39 a barrel, up 2.87. VIX is up 1.63%. Russell regional banks getting uplifted, up 0.47. That's the most beaten down index. Gold still hovering about 2K. The Dow is up 0.3. ES is up 0.23. 10-year yield doesn't report to 820. The dollar is flat. Nasdaq's down 0.04, basically flat. Silver is slightly down. 30-year bonds being sold, down 0.5. So that means the 10-year yield will be higher. Big news is Bitcoin's down 6.3%. Ether's down 7%. So just a note on that. I saw Binance shut off withdrawals. Okay. And then, because I'm just going to show you guys this now. Very, very cool tweet I saw. Not cool, but information, right? So I'm going to show you guys a two-parter right here. So if we go to Twitter, okay, it said, breaking, Binance outflow data confirms the largest withdrawal in its history. Over 162,000 Bitcoin has left the exchange, valued at 4.6 billion. Okay, so I'm going to pull you over to that graph. So that's the outflow. Probably why Binance is having some problems. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. Thought that was very interesting. Let's get back over to that watch list. That was just some of the news I wanted to share. Thought that was very interesting. All right, let's continue. All right, who do we have as a leader, right? Snow got upgraded, hence the 3.46 rise pre-market, right? Tesla broke out of that consolidation of being oversold, so that could be a mover. It's probably going to get some more short covering and rally. Okay, if it continues, it's getting continuation now. Okay, up 2.29%. Baba is another one of my stocks I've been looking at as late. Been beaten down, has to hold 83. Right, currently it is holding, so I'm interested in that. Okay, and then let's go down to some laggards. Okay, Google down 0.40, Meta's down 0.66. Coin, obviously, I just saw Coin is looking at United Emirates or something like that. Um, and obviously, with Bitcoin being down so much and the Binance issues, that is not good for Coin, even though Coin kind of broke out also from being oversold. So that stock's been beaten down a little bit. I was long on it. It had to hold 54, so it's holding 56.2 right now. So very interesting. I have my eye on that. Let's move over. Roblox up 1.68%. Then we got oil, obviously. Chevron, Exxon's up 1.42 and 1.24. Obviously, financials getting a little love today. So you got Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, right? I think Disney reports earnings this week. Let's see, let's just make sure. On 5/10, yes. So they report. All right. Any laggards? Qualcomm. Now, I did see Qualcomm looking to purchase. I can't remember now. There's news I can show you in a second. They're looking to purchase another company or something like that. I have the information on that, but obviously that's going to cost money. Hence the little drop in price. Sectors. Good morning, Wian. Sectors. How we looking? All right. Let's see here. XLE. No surprise. That's the leader, right? Up 1.51%. Followed by financials. That it's getting beaten down lately, making a little bit of a comeback on Friday, along with that upgrade from JP Morgan of Western Alliance. All right, so let's see. Discretionary, not really. Is there a lagger? Not really. Semis, and they're not. They're not. I wouldn't call them laggards. All right, I would not call them laggards. All right. Economic news. What we have going on is debt ceiling talk. I'm going to really briefly go over this because, believe it or not, there's not a ton besides that crypto news. Actually, Apple got a downgrade. That's something to note. That's interesting. Somebody just downgraded Apple. So let's get into some news, and I'm just really quickly going to go. I gave you that Binance news. Give me one sec here while I pull this up. Now we're going to go over the economic calendar as well. So let's do that. All right. So what do we have this week? Today, I wouldn't say there's anything life changing today. However, this week we have CPI and PPI, jobless claims. So we have Wednesday we have CPI, and Thursday's PPI, jobless claims. And what do we have? Friday, Michigan consumer sentiment. That's really all for this week, but all is not is a lot with CPI, right? That kind of like, even though I know the Fed prefers PCE or core CPI, but PCE is really what they really look for. But still big. Market moves. It's a market mover, right? Here's what I was talking about earlier. That's not what I was talking about earlier. This is what I was talking about earlier. That we have the debt ceiling talk. We had Warren Buffett talking about the banks. Let's just get really quickly. I'm just gonna cover what I saw earlier with Qualcomm. Yeah, so Qualcomm. Let's see here, right there. So Qualcomm said the chip designer said it would buy Israel's Autotalks Ltd. That makes chips used in technology aimed at preventing vehicle crashes, as the U.S. firm looks to deepen its automotive business. Qualcomm had said last year that its automotive business pipeline had increased to 30 billion, up more than 10 billion since an announcement late in July. It says Qualcomm said it would incorporate AutoTalk solutions into Snapdragon digital chassis product portfolio, but it did not elaborate on the financials of the deal. So that's gonna, that's a cost. So, and shout out to my friend Rosita. Tupperware is not looking good. So that is getting. I think he even got a downgrade. But what else? That's it. That's really all I wanted to cover as far as news. We can get right into some daily charts. Good morning, Rosita. Um, let's get into some daily charts. Moving along here, everybody. All right. So we're just in this range, boy. Right? We're hanging out. We're just coming down, coming up, coming down. Are we going to come back up and come back down? Maybe. Right? Seasonality in May is usually sell in May and go away, right? So let's zoom in here. Okay, we got my VWAPs, right? My anchor VWAPs. Let's look at these. We'll just go from this swing low here. Okay, let's look at what the SPY is telling us. Okay, so obviously we went down, then we gapped up, right? Kind of gapped and goed, and we cleared the 8 EMA daily. We cleared the 20 simple moving average. We went up almost to, what is that, Thursday's highs. Got a little selling, closed here. Okay, so we have our FOMC anchored VWAP from, what is that, 322. So that's acted as support. Couldn't break it again, right? Then we have our FOMC anchored VWAP from just the past FOMC. That's from the highs. That acted as resistance, but now it acted as support here. So I might even change this color. But yes, so look, look at this market. Went up, went down, went all the way up, had kind of inverse hammer here, went all the way down, broke this swing low, and now we're on our way back. So all it is really longs. Then the longs have to liquidate. Then now you got shorts. Now the shorts have to cover. And what are we probably going to wind up doing is most likely ended up at the top here, 417, 414, 415. And then another decision, either are they going to sell off with some catalyst or whatever? CPI is coming up, right? Where are we now, right? 413.45. So we are at the top of Friday's range right now. We're at the top. Okay. Let's look at those weeklies. So, weeklies give you a nice view of what's really been going on, which is not much when you look at the weeklies. 10-week EMA, I told you guys that's a very easy barometer to look at what the market's doing, right? So you can't close below this thing. Every time it tries to go below it, we don't close above it. We don't close below it, right? And you got hammers candles here. Two weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row we came down and got excess. Okay? So that's, there's buyers down here, right? So we have to see. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the Qs. Okay, Qs in a large range from all the way back here, starting around 331. Okay? Range, broke the range, right? Then that was a look below and fail. Came back up. All these shorts had the cover with 2 candles. Had this little doji, and then sellers came back. And then guess what? On Friday, you took out all 3 of these days. That's called a seller shut-off pattern. One day took out 3 days of selling. Right? Now, What do we have here? We have my FOMC anchored VWAP from, that was March 22nd. That was supportive, broke, right? Then it was resistance for a couple days, support, support, and look at that right there. Look at that candle right there, right? And this is the last FOMC from the highs, which is right in here. Okay, it's white on white, I understand. I think I might even change the color of this. Hold on a second, edit study. Maybe we just change that color just so we can see it. Let's see, let's make it maybe this color. Alright, so it's right there. Okay. Now we have these highs here, right? So let's just put a level here, because this is definitely a level you got to pay attention to. 323 in the Qs, right? So this is the past high of this candle. We went right there. Important level. Okay. Let's look at the weekies. Actually, let's see where we're at now. We're at 322.70, right? So we're right 322.70. We're hanging out at the close. Okay, like I said, it's flat. And, can we break out of this? That's going to be very interesting. And do we break out and hold and go up, or do we break out, fail, go back down? We will visit the bottom of this range if that happens. I am prepared to put a trade on for that. But we have to see, right? All right, let's look at the weeklies, right? Look at this, the weeklies here. I mean, just look at this. I mean, it's just in this range, boy. But now you got excess, right? Let's look at that 10-week moving average. We haven't seen a close below that since, what is that, March? It's the week of March 6th. We've closed above it every week here. We've only touched it once. Couldn't close above it. Look at this excess. Okay? Buyers are present there, but they have to break out here to do anything. Okay? Okay. Move on. Let's go to the Dow. Okay, so the Dow, a little more sloppy here because of financials, right? So look at this selling in the Dow, right? Boom, 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 boom. Right? We came down here, couldn't close below the 50-day moving average. Pushed up, right? And then on Friday, we pretty much hit the 20-day simple moving average right to the tick here. Right to the tick here. We also have the 80-day daily, and then we have this 20 simple day moving average right here. So notice the Qs took out 3 days of selling. The Dow only could take out 1. Okay, so where are we at now? 337. Let's call it 60. 337.60. We're right at the highs. Okay, right at the highs. So actually, the Nasdaq is the weaker right now of the indexes. The Russell's the strongest, right? All right, look at weeklies. Look at the excess in the Dow. Look at that. So no index has been able to close below this 10-week EMA. Very powerful. Okay. And I think the Russell will obviously break that, but because it's the weakest. All right, let's look at that Russell. Okay. The Russell, look at that monster gap. Monster gap on Friday. Those regional banks got bought up. Okay. Huge gap. But we're still hurting pretty bad. Okay, so it came all the way down here. Right? This was below the 50-day moving average, all the way up here. 20 simple moving averages here. The 8 EMA is holding it. Right? Very, very interesting here. It's very weak. Right? Let's look at the, what are we at now? 175.25. So we are gapping higher right now. And right below this 20 simple moving average. Okay? So the Russell's trying to make somewhat of a comeback here. I would look for, I'm interested in a trade here. So I would look for, now just notice this little pattern we're in here. All this right here, right? These sellers haven't gotten hurt. Now this gap might have hurt this selling, right? But all these people in here are still not hurt yet. So if we get above 70, hold 75, hold this 27 moving average, I would say first target 176, and then you go for this range here, 179.10, the top of this range. If you get some real buying in the regional banks, okay, very important here. Look at the weeklies. You can just see how weak the Russell is. Look at this monster candle, huge bearish engulfing candle, right? And then we just kind of been stuck lower, right? Selling, selling, had some buying, had some selling, right? Tried to come up to this breakout, didn't, failed. And then you got selling, but look at the excess buying, right? 2 weeks of excess buying. So like I said, if this comes up here, we could possibly take out this week and go all the way to the top of this range. And if you get some real push, something happens, possibly go back up to the well, this is the daily chart. I mean the weekly chart, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's a lot of shorts in here. If we break 179.10 right here and we hold it, boy, that's a nice trade. That is a really nice trade. All right. Enough that. Let's go to our triple-headed monster. We'll see the 10-year yield probably has risen. Let's go look at that. And it has. All right, we're gapping up. So this is the third day in a row that it's rising, right? So rising yields, not good, right? For tech especially. Nasdaq is a little of the weaker, right? But we need to break out of this 3.5 yield in order to get the market to feel any weakness. All right. Let's look at the VIX. Had a big day here, a little breakout here, and then look at that sharp sell-off on Friday. But now we're below this 17.93 level again. We're at 17.51. So basically above 18 to 20. Obviously, the market should fall a little lower. We start to break these lows and come back down here. Obviously, the market should rise. All right. Let's go to that dollar. We got our Doji land. We'll go from this top of this here. And we're just in this range, right? Just in this range, 100 to 102, right? This is the range. All right, if we go to the weeklies, you can see we've talked about this before, how that level of support is so key right here. This is the last line of defense, 182 for the dollar. It's just been support here, all the way support here, had a little rise, went down, support again, right? Very, very, very pivotal point in the dollar. All right, moving on. Let's go to the market profile, volume profile, my baby. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, let's look at the ES, okay? And you guys know what we look at. This tool is giving me a little bit of a pain here. Alrighty. All right, let's look at our profile for the week. We got nice distribution up here, okay? Distribution down here. So you got double distribution. That is our weekly, rolling weekly profile. Now, our monthly, it looks like that. So we have that, right? So it's looking prime for maybe a breakout, right? But we've seen this before. Okay. Now, let's look at our major levels, right? So we have major levels, call it 4150 right here. Most traded price of the month, most traded price of this year. 4150 area. All right. Right below that, we have the most traded price of the week. Call it 4135, right? So we have our major levels are right here. Now you hold above those, I'm going to be bullish in the futures, in the index, right? I'm going to be bullish. So price is right there. Okay. So this is a bullish imbalance in the profile here, right? You got a lot of volume starting out here. Okay. And what do we need to do to make this a complete profile? Well, you need to push excess to the top. So if we hold this, I could see us moving back up here. Okay. If we hold it. Now remember, I don't care what we do around here. As long as we hold it, that's bullish. Okay. That is not me saying I'm biased, bullish with news or anything. This is what the chart is telling me. This is what the volume profile is telling me. This is what our key levels are telling us. This is not my prediction. I don't predict. I only react to what the market's giving me. Okay, it's very important. Keeps you open, keeps you flowing like water. All right, that's how you have to be as a trader. It doesn't matter what I think macroeconomics. It doesn't matter. Okay, you trade what you see here. It doesn't matter what you think. The PE ratios of stocks are over. That does not matter. This is what matters. Okay, because this is indisputable here, right? These levels. This is the most traded contract of the price of the last 5 days. This is the most traded contract of the year and of the past month. That is card hold. No one could disagree with that. And holding above those levels, well, that's bullish. Okay. All right. Now let's look at where we're at in the profile. Okay. That's Friday's highs, Friday's lows. Okay. Overnight high, overnight low. So just let's look at this, right? So what did we do? We had a gap and go, basically. Opened here, tested only down here, and then drove higher. Hang out here a little bit before it drove higher. Okay? And in this, we closed here. Well, overnight's holding here in the upper portion of Friday. That's bullish, right? Now, what else do we have to look at? My girl Rosita is gonna like this. Okay. What else do we have? Well, you have single prints here from that push up. You have a little bit of a single print right here, but it's not much to note, but that's kind of like another little burst happened right there. Okay. So, but we're holding that's bullish. Okay, we do have single prints, but like I said, you have to break this. And you got monthly VWAP right there to really make me get attention for a short, right? Hold above here, it's a long. Now, we have a very balanced profile overnight. Okay, that's balanced, which is fine. Which is fine, right? Because you could just hold up here. Now we can get into some trading plans. All right, let's see what we have here. So I talked about a bias, a bullish bias. So we're just gonna I'm gonna map out what I think scenarios can be for the market, right? Okay, so we all have our key levels here. So this area here is our first key level area, right? Got the 20 simple moving average here as well. Most traded price of the month, most traded price of the year, right? Last line of defense a little bit is the most traded price of the week, most traded price of Friday, and monthly VWAP. So that's kind of like what you have here, and you also have the 50% point of the move here. Basically, the 50% Fibonacci of Friday is right here. That's your last line. Okay, that's your last line. So let's talk about the first line. So if we hold here, fine. The market could push up. I am not going long if that just pushes up here. Okay, that's not my style. I'd like it to come back down and test these levels. Okay, you give me some tests. Even if you dip below it a little bit, you give me some tests, make some lower highs. You think, sellers are just not that strong. What I would love is because if you do get a move up here and come down and hold it, well, then you got some liquidity here that you can hurt. And you can cause some pain for these shorts, thinking that we're going to go lower. And then market could move up here, right? And the next move could definitely, there's a naked VPOC here, 4180. Next move could happen back into this supply zone. Okay. Second, we could dip below this level. Okay. Then you have 9 EMA daily here. You have the 50% Fibonacci from Friday. You have monthly VWAP, most traded price of the week, most traded price of Friday. You hold this, even dip below it, we could possibly move back up here. And then this should not be easy, and then market could move up higher. That's all bullish. Okay. Now, what could the market do to the downside? Now you know my key levels, right? So, if you're if you're a bear, you'd want to see some kind of move up, right? Maybe get some failure. But me, I'm not interested at all until we break this level and break this level. And if the market holds under here, which would be acceptance, right? You have the most trades initiated here. They are all long up here. Everybody's long. So this is a very pivotal level. Okay. So if your market holds under here, well, now you have single prints, and now you have right here is that the elephant being held up by the toothpick. There's a lot of weight up here, and if the market gets weak, okay, we could rip. And when you rip into this, okay, you clean the singles. Can the market do that? And then you go into the gap, which is a void. So that gap can bring us right into this demand zone and fill the gap. We could possibly fill that gap. Then you have demand here. So you could hold one, but this is what the market could possibly do. You know, do you get further weakness? Does the market move all the way back down to the lows of the range? I don't know. But definitely something that you have to look at because this is very pivotal. Most traded price of the week, right? The midpoint of Friday, 50% Fibonacci, and monthly VWAP. You go below that, there's not much stopping the market from going lower. Okay? Hope everybody gets that. Let's move on. NASDAQ. Okay? Very, very strong move, boy. Very, very strong move. Let's look at it, right? Very different profile. Here's the weekly profile, right? Double distribution, but it's a nice, long, extended profile. All right? The monthly profile is balanced, right? That's no surprise because we're just in a big range. Okay, now, key levels. Where are our key levels? Most traded price of the week's right here. That price, 132. All right. Big level. Last line of defense for the NASDAQ, 131. So this area right here is the most traded price of this year and the month, just like in the ES. It's just they're flipped. Okay, so check this out. If this is our area that bulls want to defend and stay above, and price is here, well, that's bullish, right? This is bullish. And what do we need? What does the NASDAQ need? It needs to move value higher. It needs value to follow price. So if right here is the most traded price of the week, you need volume to start building out here. Right? You need the profile to start moving out here. This to move higher in order to get a higher move. Because if it can't, the market's going to come back and test this area. Okay? That's how it works. So now let's look at the market on Friday, where it was, right? So the market here filled the gap and then drove higher, right? And here's the low, high, overnight low. Very balanced profile in the overnight. Very balanced. All right, but it's holding the higher prices, which is bullish. Okay, it's holding these prices. Now Nasdaq has many single prints in its profile, so you notice the volume's very skinny all the way up here. So you have all these single prints right here. That's the stick holding up the elephant, right? Then you have another pack of single prints right here for the second push higher. Okay, so this is weak structure right here. Doesn't mean it has to be cleaned. It just means that there's not a lot of support here. It was emotional. It was short covering. All these shorts got hurt right here. Okay, that wasn't real initiative buyers. There's probably some, but there's a lot of short covering. Okay, so and we landed in a supply zone here. That's why we sold off, right? All right, so this is very bullish. Now, where's the midpoint? Right, I believe it's right here. But because there's multiple inflection points there, I can't really see it. So let's just do it. Let's just do that. Let's go from the lows with a Fibonacci just so we can make sure that that is the midpoint. I believe it is, but yeah. So that red dotted line's the 50% Fibonacci, 132.42. We can get rid of that now. So 132.42 is the midpoint. So that's a line of defense. Okay, we're way above that. Most traded price is here. Okay, it's a big range. 234 points of range in the NASDAQ. Okay, that's huge. Okay, so let's get into, this is a little different because there's supply ahead of us. Okay, and we're at the top of the range. Really different in the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ has a lot to prove today. Can it? I don't know. Okay, so first thing is you got to have a bullish bias, right? So you need the volume to build out here. You need to hold up here, especially above these prices. Okay, as long as we do that, it's bullish. I understand that it could drop below this midpoint. That's a first line of defense, but it could go all the way back here and hold it. That's still bullish, right? You need liquidity to fuel moves. Okay, so I'm not interested in just a big long up here. Okay, so what I would like to see is obviously a pullback. Okay, so if I want to be long, okay, even if you clean these single prints out, you can come down here. There's multiple ways the market could do today. It could come down to the most traded price of Friday and find support and go higher, back up to the highs, right? It could even find the 50% and move higher. That's what I'm saying. Nasdaq's so strong, doesn't matter. Even if it cleans some of these singles and held the most traded price of the week here, and the monthly VWAPs here, and the 9 EMA daily here is another point, right? Because you would get all the liquidity that got short to fuel the move higher. The market could do that. So the Nasdaq's just so strong that it could take a pullback to do that. That's the kind of pullback I'd be interested in. Okay. The less, this also obviously could do this as well. I'm not interested in this trade, but this could also happen. It could come up, break this supply, break Friday's highs, right? And then come back down and then take a leg higher. But there's a big overhead supply. I'm not a fan of that trade as much because you don't have as much liquidity that you're going to hurt. All right. So that's what I see. Okay. As far as the short stuff, okay, obviously we're in supply right here. Now, you could be licking your chops with single prints here, right? You got your stick, your toothpick holding up the elephant all the way here and here. Not a lot of support there. So, if you're a bear and if this sellers get strong again, because we're at the top of a range here, you have to be conscious of the top of the range. Even if you push up here, even if you break the supply, right? But then you start coming back into range. Market starts making lower highs. Definitely could go down here, clean these single prints, take out the overnight low, and make a stop here at the most traded price, and then clean these single prints to the most traded price. Okay, just this what I said for the long, right? You could be on the short side of that move, and if we really get weak and it's like, oh boy, and there's some catalyst, well, then you're going to revisit. You take out all these single prints, and you're going to revisit, you know, uh, the big level of the most traded price of the year and the most traded price of the month, right? Because then you would take out all these longs. And then what do? We're back to square one again. We're right at the most traded price of this year. And, we're back to bounce, which is a big possibility. So now we also have CPI and PPI this week. So how much do we move today? I don't know. But every time I say that, a big move happens before. Usually, a big moves shouldn't happen before data we're waiting for, but it has the last couple times. So anything can happen in this market. Really, anything. Okay. So that really wraps up what the market could do. Okay. So that wraps up what the market could do. Um, let's be patient today, right? Let's let the market set up. Need the market to set up on a Mondays. You know, if I don't see something off the open, you kind of like want the market to just give you a story that it tells you on Monday morning, right? Digest whatever it has to digest, the news, the crypto stuff, the this, the that, let it digest a little bit. Give yourself a little time to like see what story the market's telling you. And sometimes that's not hard. That's not easy to do, right? You just have to sit and wait for a story to develop. But then you get more of an edge, right? You have more of a feel of like what the market's doing, what sectors are strong, what stocks are strong, what stocks are weak, what indexes, you get my point. So let's be patient today, make some money. If there's no trade, then there's no trade. Um, but wish everybody have a good day today, right? Again, I've been doing my midday video updates. I don't know if that's helping anybody, but I'm doing them. Helps me as well just to stay focused. And I'll be doing one today, no doubt. And that's about it. So, of course, looking to build this channel, subscribe if you haven't already. And obviously you got my Twitter and my Instagram there. And I will see everybody at a midday update. And maybe I'll have a nice trade I can share with everybody as well. I'm a little late getting to some pre-market things I wanted to look at, but I do have, just for the beginning, Snow, Tesla, Baba, it's on my radar. Coin. Okay, so I see coin is weaker now, so very, very interesting, right? So 54 in coin is a level I'm going to be watching. Does it hold? Does it not? This Binance thing is definitely putting a chink in that. So remember, Snow's got an upgrade. Apple got a downgrade, which is interesting. And should be interesting Monday morning. Okay. So I hope everybody has a good day, and you'll get my midday update around noon or a little after that or something. All right. So I'll take it easy, everybody.